Operation Smile came to Vietnam with the very first mission in 1989.
We took a military plane over, I believe, one of the first large group of Americans to go back into the country after the war.
And you started to feel like, well, maybe, we were getting into something a little bit over our heads.
I would love to see some of the families that we saw in 1989.
Hanoi, Vietnam, February 1989. The medical mission known as Operation Smile has come to Vietnam to perform reconstructive surgery to correct facial deformities. This is the first mission to Vietnam. It is the largest group of Americans to enter the country since the end of the war. Of the 38 volunteers on the team, 7 are veterans of the Vietnam War, going back after 20 years.
General Vesey has said that the MIAs came back to the United States because of the trust created by Operation Smile. General Vesey and I were talking, and he said, Bill, I don't know if I remember telling you, but President Clinton had asked me to go to Vietnam with him, and we were giving a number of different talks at different places and happened to be at a luncheon. And there was a general who came up to me and said, General Vesey, I'd like to shake your hand. You may not know me, but I remember you very well because we fought you and we lost a lot of men.
He said, I also know that you are the person who brought Operation Smile to Vietnam. And he said, I don't have any children, but my only sister had a child who was severely disfigured at birth. And he said she was not a whole person in our country. He said Operation Smile made her a whole person. And then tears came down his cheeks. And he said, thank you.
That's the power of children. Children are the only language that all of us have in common.
The veteran was John Connor, a high school classmate of Bill McGee, who later became a successful businessman. He was unable to make the first mission because he was undergoing chemotherapy for lymphoma, likely caused by his exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam. He did make the second mission the next year in Ho Chi Minh City.
I talked with Washington just before we left, and they told us that they're very, very pleased with the work that Operation Smile has been doing and the tremendous progress that we've made in this accountability.
Part of the job is entertainer. The idea of surgery can be very frightening to the little ones, and Operation Smile has found that teenagers are very good at taking their minds off their fears. Drew Higginbotham is a senior at First Colonial in Virginia Beach. Jeff Field is a junior at Norfolk Academy. They spent a lot of time in play therapy, last stop for the children before surgery. They also spent a lot of time as ambassadors, meeting Vietnamese students at reception and conducting tours of the hospital wards.
Every student that we take on a mission says that it is the experience of their lifetime. They get it, they understand what they're going to do when they get home. They have a focus, a real focus of what they're going to do in life. A lot of it, they give back. We see it years later.
20 years later, on the 16-site anniversary mission, here is Drew, now a speech pathologist on the team in Can Tho, screening an 8-year-old girl with a cleft lip and cleft palate.
I would love to see some of the families that we saw in 1989, 20 years ago, and have them show up. And they're not kids anymore, they got families of their own.
Phái đoàn nước ngoài hả? Nước ngoài Mỹ phải không? Phái đoàn Mỹ. Operation Smile in the United States too.
Without that surgery, it is most certain Ta Van Kang would never even have experienced a kiss, could never have been married or become a father. There would be no Ta Ti Truc Zui. The team calls her Zui, and she has captured their hearts. She has been brought to the hospital by her aunt, her father's sister, who also has had a cleft repair. And that other teenager who was in Hanoi 20 years ago is now Dr. Jeff Field. He will be the anesthesiologist for Zui's surgery.
Really saw that through Operation Smile you could make such a difference in somebody's life, and that's really what inspired me to go into medicine.
At the beginning of the mission in Hanoi and at the end in Ho Chi Minh City, there were celebrations of Operation Smile's 20 years in Vietnam.
It's amazing, less 1 hour, you can change the children all his life.
In Operation Smile's 20th year in Vietnam, more than 1,000 healthcare professionals from around the world performed almost 900 life-changing surgeries and thousands of other medical and dental treatments at 16 sites in 10 days. The nation, the provinces, villages, towns, and cities of Vietnam, and the families of more than 30,000 children have seen their lives made whole by people they once faced on the battlefield.
Here I am, 20 years later, looking at kids and finding out these great things that are happening to them. One of the wonderful things about children is a physician can have skill, but the child has the power to heal.
Operation Smile's gift is the child. That's what we're here for. That's what our future is. And that's what really is going to give this world life.
We have the opportunity through children to rethink how we treat each other in our world. Because regardless of your race, regardless of your religion, regardless of your geographic origin or what you look like or the color of your skin, nobody is prejudiced against a child. Nobody. So why not start there and say, what can we do to help that child?